Welcome to the inUpowers podcast, where we give a name and a face to emotion. We discuss the real and raw when it comes to mental and emotional health. We are here to teach you that emotions are information and behavior is a choice. We want to help you make safer connections through healthy communication by empowering you to understand what your emotions are telling you. I'm your host, Tammy Hymas. Let's get started. Welcome to the inUpowers podcast. I'm Tammy.
And I'm Nikki.
And today we are going to talk about labeling. And for our Moments Minute, I want us to be aware of the labels we give to others and the labels we have for ourselves. And it doesn't sound like it's that big of a deal, and yet it sounds like a huge deal, especially with the diversity, inclusivity, and all of the different things that are going in our political climates. Labeling is very, very profound.
Well, I bet you people are thinking right now when they're listening to this, I don't label people. I don't label.
And I would think that too.
Right, but subconsciously I think we do.
Oh, I know we do. In fact, we do it so much that we don't even recognize we're doing it. Have you ever thought that person's tall, that person's short, that person, or have you ever thought, oh wow, they're smart, or I'm dumb, or have you thought, I loved the label of mom and the label of wife and hairdresser. And so when we started creating the inUpowers and this curriculum and all of that, that was hard because I was surrendering an identity, a label I said every day in my head. And I would tell everybody, I'm a hairdresser, I'm a hairdresser, I'm a hairdresser, I'm a hairdresser. And 1 year go by and I do my husband's hair. Like that was it. And that means I'm not a hairdresser anymore. Like I was actually doing more business and curriculum design and author and public speaking than I was hair. But I really struggled to change my identity or my label because I'd always had it. But I also had the label of I'm stupid, I'm dumb, I'm
yes,
not
but
enough.
you've also used your label as a hairdresser as a negative as well.
I have.
By using those words, I'm just a hairdresser. I'm just a teacher. I'm just a mom.
It's true.
I'm just a librarian. And we put those labels on ourselves when we say that. I'm just a. And you are so much more than just a. And I think we tend to forget that we do that to ourselves and put ourselves under this little umbrella when we're so much more.
So
and we
much
kind
more.
of can limit ourselves from going anywhere and doing anything when we put that label.
And there's so many labels. Like you can say I'm American, I'm Russian, I'm all these different countries because there's that label. Or we are in Idaho, so I'm an Idahoan. Well, I was born in California, so am I a Californian or am I an Idahoan? Like there's those labels. And then there's also the label of your political party, or are you religious or are you not religious? And then there's also, you would hear parents say, oh, well, she's the smart one and she's the pretty one. Or that one's athletic and this one's good with school. Like we tend to compliment people, but we're also labeling them.
Right, and sometimes those labels can affect you.
Yeah.
If you're labeled the troublemaker,
Yes.
You change your whole mindset. And a lot of times I've seen it with teaching that if I'm going to be labeled the troublemaker, then I'm going to act like it.
Right.
If I'm going to be labeled that way, then that's what you're going to get. If that's what everybody thinks of me, and it goes much deeper than that, but that's what's happening. Likewise, if you're labeled as the smart one, what about all that pressure to stay that way? Or the pretty one? The pressure to make sure that you look like that all the time. What other people are calling pretty.
Oh, and I've
it goes
watched that
both ways, those
destroy
positive
people.
and negative labels that we give people.
In fact, when we say the pretty one, I had a mom who just given birth to a kid, and she was 22 years old, and her body changed. For any of you listening that aren't a mom or haven't seen a mother or whatever, their body goes from what they were as a teenager to now a mother body, which your hips grow, you can get stretch marks, things just change a lot. And she was like, had the baby was maybe 4 months old, and she was planning her plastic surgery because she wasn't pretty anymore. And she wanted Botox and she wanted injections because she was so used to being pretty that now she's a mom, she's been destroyed. And I heard it over and over and over again in my chair that I can't go swimming with my kids because I have stretch marks. I'm like, because you gave birth to your kids. Get in your swimsuit and get in the pool and make a memory. But because we have these expectations of what we were or what we want to be, or we've labeled ourselves something, that we can't accept what we are, or we let those labels hurt us.
Yeah, they do. I mean, if you were labeled the smart one, you're gonna work yourself ragged trying to keep up with that label and making sure you get good grades and making sure you're doing all the things. And that takes a toll on a person. Or you might think that the only way they're gonna like me is if I am the smart one.
It's true.
You know, or they're only like me because I'm the pretty one. So in order for people to like me, I have to be pretty. Or, you know, they don't like me because they think I'm stupid. So, and I don't get any attention because I'm the stupid one. So I might as well just act like it. Why even bother trying? You know? And so labels can be a good thing and labels can be a not so good thing. Like, I'm sorry, if I want chocolate ice cream, I want it labeled chocolate ice cream. I don't want to open it up and have mint chocolate chip because I don't like mint.
Well, I want it
You know?
labeled chocolate because I'm allergic to chocolate.
Right.
So if I open it up and eat it and it's labeled vanilla, I'm in big trouble.
Right. So
EpiPen
sometimes,
and all.
yeah, so sometimes those labels are important, but when we label what we're supposed to be and what we're supposed to do, we limit ourselves on all the possibilities that we have out there.
Well, and it's a supposed to.
Yeah.
Once again, it's not living in reality. It's living ahead of it or behind it. We are taking what we used to be and then making an idea of what we can become, or we're like, I'm supposed to do this, or I'm supposed to do that. When you're saying I'm supposed to, that means you're not in your reality. You're actually daydreaming about something else, and you're getting frustrated over something that's never even happened. I didn't turn in the paper. I don't know that I'm not getting an A, but I'm supposed to get an A, so I'm going to do all this extra work just in case. I'm going to do one more page on my report, and I'm going to do 10 more references than required so I can make sure I get that A. When that's supposed to isn't happening.
Right.
We live beyond because we are stuck with the labels we put in our head.
It's so true. I think about labeling kids at school.
Yes.
You know, I mean, we label grades.
Yes.
You know, which is an outline of where they should be, you know, progression from one grade to another.
Exactly.
But at the same time, we have lots of different abilities in those grades. You know, just
Absolutely.
because you're in fourth grade doesn't mean you're able to do fourth grade work. And then, you know, you have one extreme of only capable of doing first grade work to kids who are in fourth grade who are able to do sixth grade work. And so we kind of put those labels on them, which is fine. And the extent is if we only keep it there instead of letting them explore and learn and grow on their own. And a lot of times kids at school get labeled the troublemaker or the liar or the thief. And sometimes it's because of behavior choices they get labeled that. But then because they get labeled that, then we don't give them the opportunity to change and to grow and to learn. Yeah, maybe they were the thief and we're taking things from backpacks and whatnot. But yet they're trying to turn a new leaf. They're learning, they're growing, but we aren't giving them a chance to learn and grow. And so then everyone still labels them the thief or the troublemaker, you know, of the school because they're always in trouble. Well, it's because we always say that, so they're living up to those expectations, and we go give them the chance to improve and to grow. So we kind of limit ourselves and those around us with putting those labels on sometimes.
Absolutely. And just the power of our thoughts with those labels affect another person. Have you ever been in a room and people were talking positively about you and you walk in and you feel like, I can conquer the world. But then you've also walked into a room and you're like, oh, they don't want me here. That's because their thoughts, their labels about you, you can feel them. They're tangible because a soul knows. And if your thoughts and labels on children, adults, other families, or people are that they are dumb, or they're thugs, or they're the
They're
troublemaker.
rich, they're poor,
They're
you
ugly, they're
know?
pretty, they're dirty, whatever we think, their soul feels it. In fact, somebody can be feeling something very negative, but be saying something very positive. And then you're looking at them and you're like, that just doesn't feel right. That doesn't feel safe in my soul, because their thoughts are not matching their words. And the power of our thoughts and the power of labels is profound in life. And so if we are making sure that when we are with someone, we're meeting Nikki. Hi, Nikki. I see you. I think you're beautiful. I know you as a school teacher, and a mom, and I know so much more about you. But I also know that I haven't even come close to tapping into all of your potential. Every time I'm like, oh, you can do that too? Of course you can. Like, that's how I am. I'm so amazed with people. We're brilliant, guys. We are just brilliant. We are so brilliant as humanity. And if we allow the hope and those feelings in our heart, they want to tap into their potential too. Have you been with a child and like, oh, you like that? Oh, wow, you can do that. And you keep exploring what they're capable of, how far they can actually go.
Oh yeah, like especially my little artists at school, because I have no art talent. Now, could I develop that art talent if I put the time and effort into it? Absolutely, but it's not where I put it. But I have some amazing little artists, and they'll come back and show me their stuff, and I just light up. And I tell them how amazing they are and how wonderful they are, and don't ever give this up, and to keep going, because you could do so much with this in your lifetime. And they do. They just beam like nobody's business, because you just filled their bucket.
You said I believe in your dream, or I believe in this
Yes.
talent. You didn't say, oh, look at you, you're an artist, and then label them only as an artist. You let them show what they love and their passion, and then you built it to grow.
Yes.
And that's what we want to talk about with this today is yes, you're going to be talented at certain things. Like, I'm tone deaf. There is nothing I can do to be able to sing on key. I'm sorry, world. You will never hear me sing unless it's synthesized. And if I do it, and I'm sorry, like, I'll sing you happy birthday, but it might not be on key. And that is just a truth for me. And that's okay, because I also love to dance, and I can keep rhythm and I can dance. But it's not, I'm not a singer. It's not that I'm not a singer and I don't appreciate music. It's like, that is just not a skill set for me. But that doesn't make me less of a person because I can't sing on key.
Right. And even if you didn't want to, I think if singing isn't your thing, right? It's okay.
It is
Because
okay.
we can't all be great at everything. We can't all have the same talents. So that's why we all have different talents and skill sets, because there are things that I enjoy doing that others don't. And we shouldn't limit ourselves or others based on our likes, our dislikes, our labeling. And sometimes I think you also need to be proud of your label.
Absolutely.
I'm proud that I'm a mom. I'm proud that I'm a teacher.
But it's not pride.
Right.
It's proud. It's different.
It is different. And I'm not just saying I'm just a mom. And it's a difference in how you look at it. I'm not just a mom. I am a mom, and I'm very proud of that. Am I a perfect mom? Absolutely not. But I'm striving and I'm trying, but I'm proud of it. I'm proud of being a teacher. I love what I do, and stuff, but it's not just who I am. It's a part of me, and it gives me the opportunity to learn and grow in so many other ways.
Exactly. And there's so many pieces that are a part of us that we can love, that the label is there with. Mm-hmm. It's not just what we are. It's this and this and this. I am a mom. I am a wife. I am a sister. I am a daughter. I am also a business owner. I am like those other labels that are incredible, because they come with so much work and effort and love and trials that make us so much stronger at it. Yes. And so we're not saying labels are bad, but we are saying we need to be careful.
Mm-hmm. Because labels can cause damage and labels can lift. So let's make sure we're lifting.
Exactly. And while we're lifting, and we might think it's a positive to say somebody's smart, if that's all we ever tell them that they are, then maybe they don't know that they're also kind and sweet and patient and loving and beautiful. If all they ever hear is smart, that's all they know. We also, as a human family, I truly believe we need to get better at giving each other compliments.
Yes.
I think it's very easy to complain, and I think it's very easy to see what's wrong with the way we think it should be and the way it actually is, than it is to see what awesome people are doing and thank them for it.
And then likewise, I think we need to get better at receiving compliments, because yes. I am terrible.
She is.
I'm terrible. I start to blush. I start to, push it away. No, it's fine. No big deal. No, really, it's fine. No, we need to learn to say thank you. And to
receive it with a warm heart.
Yes, and receive it with a warm heart. Is it easy to do? Absolutely not. I can give a compliment, but receiving one is so hard. But I think we're also afraid to give compliments because we don't know how they're going to be received and stuff. And so I think we need to learn to receive them with grace.
Exactly. And we also need to recognize that offense is a choice. People get offended when you say certain things. So now we are in this offense and offended worry world. Like we are labeling everybody like, oh, you're going to be offended if I say that. You're going to be offended if I say that. And there are very offensive things to be said. We're not saying that you can't say offensive things. I'm just saying offense is a choice. If you choose to be offended that a little child called you
old.
Yes, right? Because I am.
Because I'm ancient. That's cool.
But when they call you old or whatever, then I'm offended at a child for doing the only word they knew to explain that I'm older than them. We need to be, I don't know, I guess I would love as a human family for us to be a little more resilient, a little more loving, a little more receiving, a little more aware.
Yes. Ooh, that's a good word, aware.
Because if we were aware of our influence in the world, I think we would start adding more to it. I think we're so stuck in our heads sometimes, and this is something I've noticed for over 27 years of listening to people tell me how aware they are of what everybody's looking at them about and what's wrong with them and all the things that are hurting them and all of the ugly that's around them, that they aren't aware of everything else that's going right in the world and all the people showing love to them because they're focused on the labels and the hurt and the proof of what is wrong with them or the world.
Well, and I think if they're aware of your thoughts and your feelings and how your thoughts, feelings, and actions affect others, then maybe we'll think about how we're saying something, thinking about why we're saying it, and sometimes it might be we need to say it more, like more compliments.
Right.
And just be aware of how they affect others for good or not, that we would actually do more or less and think about what we say and do before we do it.
That is not a simple ask.
I know. It's not. It's not. But just wanting good to conquer evil, wanting everyone to be happy and to feel the way you do and to have a positive and uplifting future is such a great thing.
Yes.
That if more people wanted that, just think of all the changes that would be happening in the world.
And I actually believe we do. I truly believe as a human family, we are craving the good, except we are used to seeing the hard and the dark.
Yes.
And I want us to find it. I want us to see it. I want us to think it. I want us to feel it. And I want us to express it with each other. Because the more we express our positive thoughts and our happy emotions and love and belief in others, the more we all rise together. And we use the divisive things because, everybody's slow. It seems to be that most people slow down at a car accident to see what happened, right? When they're like, oh no, what happened to them? We will slow down to see the catastrophe or we'll kind of pause to do that. But do we slow down to see the good? Do we slow down to see the two little kids with their hands on their head raising the American flag on the flagpole because they had that, and that was them learning how to honor America for just a moment? And do we recognize those moments? And I hope that we slow down and start paying attention to our labels and our thoughts and our emotions.
I couldn't say it any better. Nice job.
Thanks. So with that, our invitation is to pay attention to your labels. What do you label yourself as? How do you label others? And are your labels building and lifting and not limiting, or are they actually hurting and limiting somebody else's thoughts? And that will be it for this week's episode. We probably could go on forever and ever and ever, but we're trying to keep them shorter. So, and I know we didn't do that again this time.
Remember, emotions are information.
And behavior is a choice. Have a great week.
Bye.
Thank you for joining us on this week's episode of the inUpowers podcast. We are grateful you are here. Please share this podcast with those you know who might need it, and follow and rate us so we can continue providing this podcast to you. Follow us on social media to see more visuals about the inUpowers, and join us next week for another episode. Until then, remember, the power to choose is in you.